I had to take my model all completely apart because I had two problems with it. The steering wasn't centered and the cable lead wouldn't connect properly to the battery receiver. It was a defect in this cable to there. And my problem was I didn't test it when I was at this state. So I put it all together, took a lot of hours to put it all together, and then I found it didn't work. So I ordered another $12 for this motor and lead. And I tore it all apart, and I verified that the connector connects to the battery receiver, and it does. And now I'll show you how it works. You see how it centers? It's an all or nothing. It's all, when you hit the left, it's all to the left and back. So when you're steering, you hold it down, you're going left, let off, you're going neutral. Other way, as long as you hold it, you're steering right, and then it's back to center. It's all or nothing. It's not proportional, but it's all good. And then I like the rack and pinion steering the way it is. You see the rack gear, rack and pinion, just like we had in the automobiles over the last 100 years on some of those. So I really love it. I love the suspension. See that suspension? It's all good. And then you can see we got a motor. There's 4 tires and you got 1 motor per tire on this situation, which is great. The problem is you got about 5 minutes of battery. The battery's dead after about 5 minutes of running. So I'm going to modify this when I put my battery in back here. I'm going to modify this so that I can do a quick change out of the battery, because I can swap out, put a fresh battery in, and get 5 more minutes of run time. So that's my evaluation of my, this is the Green Hound. Here it is right here. Mould King 18.002 Green Hound Buggy. I really like it. I really like it a lot. Just made 2 mistakes assembling it, and the problem is you need to find your mistakes as you go, because now I'm faced with, I gotta go back in my manual back to step 55, and there's like close to 400 steps on this. 378, let's see, 381 steps roughly, and I'm got it knocked all the way back to step 55 because of this problem, but I'll get it. But if you ever do a Mould King model like this, just be aware that test it. A critical juncture point is right here. When you put your rack and pinion steering together, install your motor, absolutely, you got to absolutely test it at this time. Make sure you're don't have a defect in this. See this connector here? I got it in the other room and I labeled it as a defect. That won't stay on. It's a manufacturing defect of this connector right there. If it won't stay on the terminal, on the battery block receiver, it won't work. And that's what I had to find out the hard way. So I had to tear it all apart, buy a $12 motor, which I got from off of Amazon, and tear it all apart back to this stage and rebuild it. So on page of the instructions, step number 53, where it says gear correction diagram, that is the time to make sure that your motor centers. And do not go past this point until your motor is centered. And it also should say here, make sure that when you connect it to the battery block, they don't say that in this step, but it's critical to connect it to the battery block at this step and test it, that the connector stays on the battery block and that the steering centers. When you let go of the steering, it goes back to center. Mine didn't, so I made 2 mistakes on this model. I hope you don't make the same mistakes. Please follow this video. Do not make the same mistakes I did. Thank you, and have a great day.